Boston Red Sox could not complete the series sweep against the Oakland A's. They lose 4-3 to Oakland. So Oakland finally wins a game against the Red Sox this year. Big game for Oakland. Paul Blackburn on the mound, and he's been stellar this year for the A's. And the Red Sox had Rich Hill, who struggled a little bit of bad luck for him. But yeah, we'll get into all of it and more right here on Red Sox Recap on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and let's get into it. So first things first, I'm going to start out with Paul Blackburn because he has been very good for Oakland this year. He just went today 5 1/3 innings. He did give up 8 hits and did walk 2 guys, but he only gave up 1 run. And that's at the end of the day. If you only give up 1 run, you're giving your team a pretty good chance to win. And he's done that this year. 13 starts, he's got a 2.26 ERA and a 107 WHIP compared to his 4.55 career ERA and a career 134 WHIP. He has been, very good this year. And you look at his last, 2 starts against Cleveland. His last start, he went 8 innings and didn't give up an earned run. And you only strike out 3 guys. He doesn't strike out a bunch of guys, but he just kind of gets the job done. Obviously, last time out against the Red Sox on June 4th, he only went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. Not his strongest outing, but he's still, he's done it this year where he's proven that he can be a good starting pitcher. And it's been a weird career kind of for him. So like weird career for him. In 2017, he made 10 starts, had a 3.22 ERA. Then in 2018, he made 6 starts and a 7.16 ERA. And in 2019, he made 1 start and 3 bullpen appearances at its 10.64 ERA. 2020, he just made 1 start, and that start, he went 2 1/3 innings, and he gave up 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Jeez. And then last year in 9 starts, he had a 5.87 ERA. So his first year in that 10 starts, he looked good. And then after that, his career, he just really hasn't been able to figure it out with the big leagues. But this year in 13 starts, he's got a 2.26 ERA, and he's been very good, like very good for the A's. And I think you can make the argument he's better than Frankie Montas this year for the A's, which is crazy. But the A's could look at it and go like, oh well, we got another trade piece. We have another guy that we could look at trading maybe and potentially think about dealing him at the deadline. He's only 28, so it actually wouldn't be it would make sense for them to do it, especially if he's pitching this well. There would be some sort of market for him. But he's been very good for the A's, and the A's are going to try and. I'm guessing the A's are going to try and be the A's and trade him because he's been good this year. So, that's what the A's are doing right now, just trading away everyone who has any bit of talent on the big league team who doesn't have control time. Even if they do, like Laureano and Sean Murphy, they're still looking to trade them. Go to the Red Sox side of things. They had 11 hits and they drew 3 walks, but they just got nothing going. They left 13 guys on base today, and they went 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Yikes. They only had 1 extra base hit today, and that was the Jarren Duran double. But if JD Martinez hits that ball, that you can make the argument that might only be a single for him because he's slow and Duran's stupidly fast. But I don't know. Duran had 2 hits, but then they pinch hit from him with Dahlbeck, which why? Then Devers just had 2 walks today. Martinez had 3 hits, but they were all singles. And he only got 1 RBI from him. Bogarts had a hit, 1 RBI. Verdugo didn't do anything. No hits. He didn't strike out. He didn't walk. Just put the ball in play every time. Just got out. That's kind of been the season so far. You can put the ball in play. He can hit it as hard as he wants, as soft as he wants. He just hits it right at someone, it feels. Story struggled today. He went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Yeah, and he also struggled a little bit in the field today. So it was just a rough game overall for Story. Franchi Cordero 1 for 3 with a strikeout. And then Ref Snyder came in and pinch hit for him, and his two at bats he had a hit. You know, Vasquez went 1 for 3. He also drew a walk. And Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 for 4. Jackie Bradley Jr. has been hitting well at Fenway. Jackie Bradley Jr. is you might have to call him Mr. Fenway now, because all he does is hit at Fenway. It's literally literally what he does. Jackie Bradley Jr. just hits at Fenway. He was hitting like 317 at Fenway heading into today, and that's probably jumped over 320 now that he went 2 for 4 today. He's been amazing at Fenway. The only thing is, though, the offense as a whole, it doesn't matter how many hits you get if you can't bring guys home. One of 14 with runners in scoring position. Like, that's ridiculous. It's with the runners left in scoring position with 2 outs. Duran left a guy in scoring position with 2 outs. Martinez left 1. No, sorry, Martinez left 2 guys. Story left 2 guys. Bogarts left a guy, and Verdugo left a guy. That's your top 6 in the lineup, with the exception of Devers. Like, that's what can you do? They're like, you got to figure something out. You cannot leave that many guys on base, especially when it's the middle of your order up. You just can't. And I understand, there's 2 outs, 1 out ends the inning, but like, how many times do you need to get a run across the plate? Like, it's ridiculous. And the 2 runs they scored in the 8th were unearned runs. Like, so those runs could have easily been avoided by the A's. They easily could have been avoided. That's just the problem. The Red Sox, they have it at times where they just don't drive guys in. Most of the time when teams are good, they're either hitting the long ball or they're getting consecutive hits. The Red Sox, right in this game today, they didn't have the long ball, and they didn't get consecutive hits, at least enough to score a run or 2 or 3. Just they didn't have it, and I think that's kind of a little bit of a problem for the Red Sox. They gotta find a way to somewhat consistently have that if they're gonna continue to play well, especially now that they're gonna start playing Cleveland now, and then they're gonna get Toronto. They're gonna go to Toronto for that one. Then they have they get the Rays and Yankees in 4 series against the Rays and Yankees. I don't remember the order. I think it's something like Yankees Rays, I think something like that. It's something, or like Rays Yankees. It's something like that they have those teams. So it's going to be a very rough stretch up until the All-Star break. And then even after the All-Star break, all the way through the end of August, it's a rough stretch for the Red Sox. So they've got to, get on. They got to get it going. They got to get it going, because they start struggling now. You can kiss the season goodbye, because they're playing all the teams that they're going to compete with for wild card spots or for in the division, or even the Red Sox aren't the Red Sox aren't necessarily competing with the Yankees for the division right now. The Yankees are so far ahead, but you still don't want to lose to them, because now you're losing ground on the teams you're up against in the wild card. So you still don't want to lose regardless, unless you're just a bad team. Unless you're tanking, you don't want to lose. Unless you're rebuilding, you don't want to lose. So just that's the thing. The Red Sox got to figure it out. They've got to figure it out. They got to figure out a way to win against good teams now. Yes, these bad teams, the sub 500 records that they've played. I mean, then sub 500 record, but guess what? You still have to beat them. And the Red Sox did that. They still beat those teams. Now they got to beat the teams that have the good records, and they have to go and beat those teams now. So that's what they got to do. That's all up to that. They got to figure out a way to do that. And the offense is going to be a big, big part of it, because if you can't score, you're not going to win. It's as simple as that. If you don't score, you're not going to win. Doesn't matter how well you pitch. If you can't score and all the other team needs to do is score 1 to win. If you only score 1, your chances of winning are not that good because now the other team just needs 2. You got to win. You got to score to win. At the end of the day, that's it. On the mound, Rich Hill today, 5 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits. I don't know, didn't walk anyone though. 4 runs, 3 of them were earned, 1 of them obviously unearned. It wasn't some crazy outing from Rich Hill, but you still have to look at it and go, you know what? It gave the Red Sox a chance to win, especially considering the chances the offense had. So it was a decent start. It wasn't a good start, wasn't a great start, but it definitely was not bad. Definitely wasn't bad. So it's that thing, like, could have been better, yes, but at the end of the day, the Red Sox still could have won this game, even with the start from Rich Hill. And they didn't. Rich Hill gave them a chance to win. They didn't. The offense couldn't pull through. The offense couldn't get enough runs on the board. They couldn't. They kept on faltering and missing their chances. Bullpen wise, Salmore came in for a third of an inning. However, he did give up a run that he inherited from Rich Hill. That run gets credit to Rich Hill, not Salmore, but that should be noted. And then the rest of the bullpen was good, kind of the rest of the way. Brazier, Robles, and Danish all looked good out of the pen. Actually, from the bullpen, there's only 1 strikeout, and that was from Hansel Robles. And 3 1/3 innings from the bullpen, just 1 strikeout, but no walks and only 1 hit. And that was also given. Hansel Robles also had that one. He gave up a hit as well. But yeah, so the bullpen still looked good. Obviously, not like super high leverage because the Red Sox weren't like holding a 1-run lead, but it's still important because the game was still somewhat close. And after the 8th inning of the 9th inning, he brought out Danish. Well, he still had to, keep it close, and he did. So, you gave the Red Sox a chance to win, but they just couldn't convert on their chances. It's the big story of the game today. They just, couldn't convert on their chances. You look at the A's lineup. There's not a lot of guys who did, a whole bunch. Most guys only had 1 hit. Pinder, Laureano, Bethancourt, Murphy, Brown, Bride, and Pache all had hits. All of them only just had 1 hit though, with the exception of Ramon Laureano, who had 2. They did have 3 extra base hits, all of them doubles from Pache, Laureano, and Murphy, but there wasn't like they weren't hitting bombs or whatever. So it's not that they just capitalized when they got the guys on base, they drove them in. They went 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. That's heck of a lot better than 1 for 14. I'll tell you that. I think anyone can figure that out. And that was the difference. That was realistically the difference in today's game. Runners in scoring position. What'd you do? The A's went 2 for 6, and the Red Sox went 1 for 14. That truly was the difference in today's game. And the Red Sox are going to have to live with that. They're going to have to improve with that in this upcoming stretch. But that's going to wrap this one up. Make sure to check out all the links in the description, the podcast, the Instagram, the Twitter, the website, and all the crew's Twitters. Make sure to like, subscribe while you're down there, and hit the notification bell so you know when we post. And yeah, thanks for checking out the Strike Test Recap. My name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.